Welcome into this week's edition of the Recruiting Roundup powered by Rock and Refuel. That's Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen, and we bring the latest high school football recruiting news and do so year-round. We have reached the final week of the season. We'll take a look at some of those games coming up. But first, Jason, a look back at Week 9, which was a really impressive week for a lot of players around the state, but none more than our Player of the Week from this week, quarterback Brian Lewerke, after an amazing, gutsy performance against Horizon.
Yeah, you call it amazing because he had missed the previous game against Mountain Ridge with a broken finger. He was a game-time decision, played against Horizon on the biggest stage on the Thursday night game, and was just phenomenal. He had 314 yards passing and 5 touchdowns in the air against that. Playing against Dalton Seed is another very, very good quarterback, but Michigan State fans should be very happy that Lewerke has committed to them.
Yeah, and he actually took his official visit to Michigan State over the weekend. Congrats to Brian Lewerke being the Player of the Week. Up next, now, breakout prospects. We like to get a few players that we see from the games we attend from the week prior, guys that we think should be on the radar of college schools. Your first one, Jason, also from that Pinnacle Horizon game.
Yeah, I've seen Julian Carter from Horizon now 2 weeks in a row. I saw him against Boulder Creek, now saw him against Pinnacle, and I really like just when you see him, when you go to a game and he just looks the part. He's about 6'2", getting up to close to 200 pounds. He's a guy that I think in that offense at Horizon is going to shine the rest of this year through the playoffs and next year as a senior.
I was out at Moon Valley against Tempe on Friday. Tempe, the Buffaloes came away with a win. They remain undefeated, but I'm going to focus on one Moon Valley player for my breakout prospect, junior Brett Voss. Now, this is a kid that plays both sides of the football for the Rockets. On offense against Tempe, he caught 3 touchdowns last week. Very talented, athletic young man. Chris McGahey was a very versatile, athletic guy back in the day. The last time Moon Valley won a state championship, this guy has a very similar makeup. Not going to put that kind of pressure on him, but definitely a guy that stands out on the field for the Rockets. Now, Jason, Week 10. Finally, the last week of the regular season. And some games that have some implications for seedings, maybe even section championships coming up this weekend. The first one we want to focus on, an old rivalry in the West Side, Cactus going up against Peoria.
Yeah, a huge West Side rivalry. These two teams, they hate each other. Now you look at it, Peoria took their first loss last week. They're 8-1. Cactus is 8-1 going in, so they want bragging rights for the rest of the year in that area. So Peoria, they're led by Akeem Rutledge, their running back, short in stature, but he puts up big numbers. Has 1,200 yards rushing and has 20 touchdowns on the ground, which is just great for Coach Will Babb over there at Peoria. Then you look at Cactus, led by their quarterback, Preston Guerra, only a junior, but he's a dual threat guy, has 26 touchdowns total this year.
The next game that we're going to focus on, this one has section implications. PV going up against Chaparral. Now, these schools aren't too far from each other, aren't historically known for having big matchups, but this is as big as it gets. When you look at Paradise Valley, Daniel Bridge-Gadd has been a monster this season, over 2,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns to 5 picks, and the guy he's been connecting with all year, another junior, Jacob Brown, has one offer from South Dakota State. He has 18 receiving touchdowns this year. Chaparral's secondary led by Kurt Sugart. He's going to be busy guarding Jacob Brown. It should be offense versus defense. Whoever prevails on that one will come away the winner and the section champ in that game. And finally, Jason, huge matchup down south in Tucson. Saguaro going up against Cienega.
Yeah, Saguaro trying to preserve their undefeated season. They're led by Derek Hall. He's a do-it-all player, one of my favorite players that I've seen on tape. Plays running back, plays linebacker, plays some safety. Just love what Derek Hall brings to the field. And going against Cienega, they're 8-1. Their only loss is very early in the year to Ironwood Ridge. Their quarterback, Adriel Alvarado, has not thrown an interception yet this year. Just crazy number in itself. And then offensively and defensively, Terrence Johnson is their guy. He has 600 yards of total yards on offense and is their second leading tackler on defense.
That's it for this week. Next time we see you, we'll talk playoffs. Can't believe it's already here. We'll get you ready for that. But until then, that's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been the Recruiting Roundup, powered by Rock and Refuel Varsity on Sports360AZ.com.